The Education Collaborative was envisioned by Ashesi University back in 2016 when in thinking about our skills strategy as a university, we asked ourselves, how quickly can we really bring about this African Renaissance if we're just doing it within ourselves at Ashesi University? So in thinking around this goal for transformation, we asked ourselves, could we rather bring along other institutions on the continent who buy into this similar vision, to work together to really rapidly and quickly scale the outcomes for students on the continent. And so in achieving that, we've had to work through the differences in culture, the differences in context, the differences in types of institution, right? So those have really been our biggest challenges. And in tackling that, we've had to take a very organic approach to building the relationships and the connections that we've established in the Education Collaborative. So I would say the university leaders really have been our biggest ally, working through the kinks together, working through how to collaborate more efficiently and effectively, and helping us to determine where to prioritize resources and efforts to ensure the best outcomes. Also, a very notable ally has been the Mastercard Foundation in believing in this vision, in this initiative, and supporting through its resourcing for the next few years. In the last 3 years, we have been rolling out our 10-year strategy, ending in 2030. In doing that, we've really figured out how best to set up a regional hub, because the Education Collaborative is organized or implemented through regional hubs to drive further contextualization and relevance of the solutions and the sharing that happens. And in the last 3 years, one of the biggest successes is setting up these regional hubs. We set up East African Hub with about 10 institutions being the anchors in that region. And then we set up with the West Africa regional hubs with close to 15 higher education institutions really driving priorities in that region. So the future looks like institutions seamlessly working towards one goal for transformative higher education in Africa. And I think that's one of the biggest goals we are working towards in the Education Collaborative, to build a certain culture of trust such that institutions at any point feel like they can rely on each other to learn, to address challenges, and to make progress in giving quality education to the students that come through their systems and structures.
Great. So good afternoon to you once again. I believe you are coming from all across Africa. Once you come on, I would like you to type in the chat your university and which country you are joining us from today. Please do type in the chat your university and which country you are coming from today. So warm welcome to you. My name is Selassie Nukpe. I am a career advisor here at Ashesi University in Ghana. And today we will be going through a LinkedIn mastery for professional development. And this session has been specially designed for you students from all across Africa. Okay. So I will start with a quick introduction of my colleagues. As a panel we have here today of 3 very brilliant and experienced professionals in the career development area. And I will start with my colleague from Kepler in Rwanda, Christian Shema Nsega. Christian is the assistant lecturer for communication and library manager at Kepler College. He's very passionate about he's a very passionate educator by training and profession. His ultimate goal is to improve the teaching and learning environment of the African youth, to empower them to be positive contributors to their families, their nations, the continents, and the world's betterment. Tip for you this afternoon is you definitely want to connect with Christian on LinkedIn by the time the session ends. And also joining us today is my colleague, Peace Okala Etukesien. Peace is a very passionate career advisor. She's a certified coach. She's a talent manager, an emotional intelligence practitioner, and a conscious growth advocate. Peace has over 10 years of experience, and she has successfully guided professionals, young adults through transformative career development. So Peace currently works with Pan-African University in Nigeria. Any Nigerians in the house? Yes, do put in the chat that you're from Nigeria. So Peace and Christian, you are very welcome, and thank you for joining me and the students here today for today's session. So basically, by the end of today's session, it's important to us, I'll quickly go here, it's important to us that by the end of today's session, everyone on this call understands what LinkedIn is. You understand the importance of LinkedIn, how it benefits your career development now as a student. You know how to create and optimize your LinkedIn profile. You know how and why to network on LinkedIn. You know how to search for jobs. And you are also ready to partake in a competition. Yes, there is a competition. At the end of the session, I will definitely share the details of the competition with a really exciting prize. So you want to stay to the end. So at the beginning of this whole idea of the session, or when you were registering, we asked a few questions. We asked whether you have a LinkedIn account and also your level of activity on LinkedIn. About 60, so we in general, we had over 600 students registering. I'm expecting a lot more to join as we go along. And if you have a colleague who hasn't joined yet, nudge them to join early. Every single part is important and you don't want to miss any section of this. 67% of you said that you have a LinkedIn account, with 23% saying you do not have a LinkedIn account. Even with that, we had almost, probably, do I say this is 70 or 80% of you saying that you are relatively inactive with your LinkedIn usage, and 123 of you saying you are very active. That is okay. That is why we are here today, to make sure that by the time we finish this session, you are confident, you are excited, and you are ready to go progress on LinkedIn. So let's get started. You are all at the moment coming from different universities, and there are different reasons why you decided to go to university. Whether you are studying medicine, or whether it's a technical university, whether you are studying engineering, or even business administration, you have different goals. And the question is, what is a goal without a plan? Nothing will happen, and you all know that. And that is why you and I, at every point in our life, especially now as students, we actually need to put down our plans. We need to put down first our goal or our vision and actually write down the plans we have. And the next important step after writing down those plans is you need to take action. And how are you going to take that action? It could be lots of different things, but today the action we are talking about is LinkedIn. One important action that you need to do is to find out what industry needs for you to be able to fit into industry. You need to know what industry is looking for so you can find those hard skills and soft skills that you need to develop so that by the 4th year, you are ready, you are shining, and ready to go. And also, you need to also connect with industry and let industry know what your progress is. Now, there's a little bit of truth about our career journey. We all have different stories in here. And I know that for you students, one thing that's on the top of your mind is I'm going to finish with my degree or whatever course I'm doing, start, become a manager, and probably progress to the managing director. But unfortunately, life is not always like that. There could be different turns, there could be different mountains and valleys. But today we really want to tell you that that is all fine. There's no problem with that. And it's all part of the career journey. And the most important thing about it is that you do not want to wait till you achieve that big thing. You do not want to wait till you've graduated or you have a shiny new certificate where you are writing something on LinkedIn like, I am happy to inform you that XYZ, but you want to start sharing things on LinkedIn. Even today, your small stories are important. So don't wait for success before you start posting on LinkedIn. Now, what is LinkedIn? What is LinkedIn? I'm hoping everybody here would have heard of LinkedIn before. Or even if you have not, you would go, check out, or at least, yes, you would learn a lot about it today. So basically, LinkedIn is, you could call it a social media platform, but it's a unique one. It's a social media platform for professionals. It's the world's largest professional network where you have literally over 1 billion members on there, 1 billion professionals on there. You have literally 63 million companies. Take your time and just imagine those numbers I mentioned. 63 million companies on LinkedIn, over 20 million open jobs on LinkedIn at every given time. And in fact, in 2023, 4 million people got jobs on LinkedIn. And what do we even do on LinkedIn? So as a student, even from now all the way to when you become a professional, LinkedIn is a good place for you to be building your professional connections and career-related content. It's a good place for you to network. We'll talk about that. You yourself, you are a brand. LinkedIn is a good way for you to show yourself as a brand or even your business and how you add value to the world. And like we've mentioned, a good place for jobs, a good place for you to learn and to also share your expertise. Point of note, I hope you have your pens and papers with you and you are taking notes as we speak. At this point, I would like to invite my colleague, Peace, to take us through creating and optimizing your professional LinkedIn profile.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peace from Pan Atlantic University, and I'm super excited to be here. It's a great pleasure. It's a great honor for me to be sharing my ideas with you on creating and optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Just as my colleague has said, Selassie, LinkedIn is a very essential tool for us as students and for us as professionals in general. So today I'll be talking about how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. I don't know, can anyone hear me? Can you hear me all?
Loud and clear, we can hear you, Peace.
All right, thank you so much. So I'll be talking about, our outline today will be on LinkedIn profile, its key function, the reason why you need a LinkedIn profile, and tips on how to make your LinkedIn profile great. It's not just about having a LinkedIn account. Is your LinkedIn account presentable? When people come online, when recruiters see your LinkedIn profile, are they excited to see what you have, to read more on what you have on LinkedIn? So do you know that 35% of LinkedIn users have gotten their big breakthrough from just being active on LinkedIn? Some students have gotten their dream jobs for just having a LinkedIn profile. Some professionals have signed big business deals just through LinkedIn. Some others have also met their mentors in various industries through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. It's one of the most largest professional network in the world. Every professional out there have a LinkedIn profile. And to tell you how important and how great a LinkedIn profile is. Also, recruiters go on LinkedIn to check out the profiles of students. So if you're a student or if you're a graduate or you're done with school, once you apply for a job, most organizations go out there to check, oh, you applied for the position of maybe a manager or maybe a graduate assistant or an internship program. They go to check what you have on LinkedIn. What does your profile look like? What have you been posting out there? And so that's why it's essential for everyone to actually have a good profile. Next slide, please. So I asked this big question. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? Can we put it up on the chat box? Yes, I know we had talked about, we had the, what's it called? When you were registering for the event, it shows, okay, those that have LinkedIn. Okay, yes, I'm seeing yes on the chat box. Okay, no, please. Okay, great. Yes, I have a link. Thank you so much for putting up on the chat box. So let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, wow, we have a lot of responses from the chat box. That's great. I'm happy to know that we have students that have LinkedIn profiles. It's really, really, really good. I'm happy to hear that, to see on the chat box that we have students that have LinkedIn profiles. So this is what a LinkedIn profile look like for those that don't have a LinkedIn profile. So it has, this is just how we look like. This is a picture of a student LinkedIn profile. So next slide, please. Okay, so LinkedIn is a professional networking platform. Whether you intend to have a business or whether you intend to own your own company tomorrow, whether you intend to work in the multinational, LinkedIn is that professional network, that professional platform that every individual have. You could market your business on LinkedIn. You could sell what you have, you could pitch your proposal on LinkedIn. People have gotten a big deal from just putting up their proposal on LinkedIn, and investors see it and say, oh, wow, I can partner with this student, or I can partner with this individual to actually execute this project. So LinkedIn is an online resume. So it's more like showing your professional, it's more like showing your online resume, your portfolio. What's that thing you want every recruiter to see in your CV when they pick up your CV? That's how your LinkedIn profile should look like. If you're applying for a job or for internships or for a part-time role, whatever it is, or you're volunteering for anything, and if you want an employer, a recruiter to see your CV, the things that you like to the things you like to have on your CV, it's always very important to put it on your LinkedIn, because your LinkedIn is your online resume for anyone to have access to. Next slide, please, Celestine. Okay, so I'll be talking about the key features of a LinkedIn profile. So for those that don't have a LinkedIn profile, once you open up an account, the essential things that you need to set up to ensure that once you have all of these things in place, once recruiters search, they are going to be excited with what they see. So personal information, your name, you put your full name, not your nickname, not your pet name or whatever, but it has to be your name because it's a professional platform. So here on the picture that I have, you could see she's a student of Pan Atlantic University. She has a name. And you can see that she has a headline of things that she's interested in. She had put creative writing, music, and art. She also put that she's studying mass communication at Pan Atlantic University. So if you need to check your profile. What do I have on my profile? When people search my name, what's that thing that comes out first? And your headline is so important because when people search for opportunities or they're looking for people to fill up a particular role, they just pick up what they're looking for. For instance, if a writer is looking to have a fellow writer come on board for a particular project, and the person is searching on LinkedIn, the first thing the person put out there is writer, creative writing, and all of this just pops out. So it's very important to have that headline that you want recruiters to associate with you, or what's that skill, that thing you're actually very passionate about, or that career path you're actually building. That's what you should have on your LinkedIn profile headline. Then your about section, it just describes your career goals, your unique skills. What's the thing you're interested in? For instance, you're an engineering student, or you're a media student, or you're a business administration student, what's that skills? What's that course you're studying that you're very good at? If you're good on Excel, you put it up in your about. If you're good at content creation, you put it up. If you handled several projects and you did it well, executed it well, you put it up there in your about. If you're managing for, okay, let me give you an instance. If you're a media student and you're managing an organization, you had managed an organization's social media page during internship, or maybe you volunteered to run your school account, and maybe when you started, they just had 10 followers. And from the moment when you picked up the account, you grew it from 10 followers to 50 followers to 100 followers, and the likes increased from 5 to 20 to 100. In your about section, you put it that you're into social media and you've moved an organization social media page from 0 to 90% and all of that. So your about page should solve that thing that you're good at, your career journey, your strength, your interest, and how you've grown from uh your level, from your 100 level to maybe the current level you're in. And then if you're in 100 level, maybe you're just starting school, in your about, so you could just put, okay, you're a student of maybe Ashesi University, I'm studying law, or I'm studying engineering. These are my strengths. I'm good with this. I have interest in AutoCAD. I have interest in designing. It's good to just put it. So any employer, anybody looking at your profile will know, okay, yes, you're a student, but at least you have some skills and you're also interested in this area of field. So these are samples of student about session. You see, one person said, I'm an experienced content creator. They are all in final year. And so obviously this person has been doing content creation from 100 level to a final year. You could see this other person says has a passion for engineering and all of that. So even in your about session, for those that are just starting, if you were the head boy or the head girl in your secondary school, or you were the best graduating student, it's good to put it out there. If you were the chairman of a club, maybe your social club, you were the social prefect, and you organize some social event for your classmates and all of that, you put it up on your LinkedIn profile. It shows your leadership skills. It shows that, yes, you're a student, you're just starting up, but you have a bit of experience. So let's move to experience. So experience shows your detailed history of your work experience. It could be an internship that you've done. It could be a volunteer work. Some of you might have not worked in the four walls of an organization. For those just starting up, maybe you're in 100 level, you're in 200 level, you haven't worked in the four walls, but you have parents that have business, or you have aunties or uncles, or in your church, you had volunteered to organize a program for the youth or for the children's session. That's an experience. You put it up there, you neatly arrange it, the name of the organization or the name of the church, what you did during the period you handled that position. So it's very, very good to put your volunteer work and whatever you've actually done during internship. It shows your experience over time. And by the time you're done with school, your LinkedIn profile will be looking so great because you've actually put in your experience from when you started till. It just shows your career journey all through. Okay, next slide, please, Selassie. Okay, so we're under the education future. So you put the name of your institution, when you started, the course you're studying, and then if you're involved in any social activities in your university, it's always good to put it. If you're a member of the press club, you put it. If you're a member of the writing and debate club, it's good to put it out there. And then there's another section too in the LinkedIn profile that talks about your license and your certifications. So if you've taken trainings on Udemy or Coursera, or you went for a one-day seminar, a one-day workshop, and then you were given a certificate, it's good to put it out there. It shows that you've been actually training, improving on yourself. Then let's move to skills. So on your profile too, okay, there's a part in this picture I put volunteering. So if you volunteered to lead any session in your school, in your church, in any society around you, It's good to couch it nicely and then put it on LinkedIn. Thank God for AI right now. AI is your friend, helps us. So if you're struggling with how to couch it, you could put up on AI. It's okay. I've done XYZ. How do I couch it neatly to fit LinkedIn? And it gives you a couple of options, and then you put it out there. And then when you list out all your skills, it's good to ask for endorsements from your lecturers, from your fellow classmates to say, yes, I'm good in this. And because they've been interacting with you, relating with you, it's easy for them to endorse you on the platform. Can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, can you say
Yes,
something?
we can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you. So, recommendations. Recommendation is very, very important. So if you worked on a project with your lecturer, with your student, maybe a group of students worked on a project and you're done and you did very well, good, go there and ask for recommendation. If you've gone on internship, after your internship programs, you meet your supervisor to say, okay, can you provide feedback? Can you recommend me on LinkedIn? It's very, very essential to ask for recommendations from people that you work with, your mentors in your various industry. Okay, so key features of a LinkedIn profile. Continuing from what I was saying earlier, aside recommendation, you also put your accomplishments. If you have written a project, or for those that are into creative writing, for those in the engineering sector, you worked on a project, maybe you created an inverter or you created something, batteries, something relating to your course of study, you put it out there on LinkedIn, say, oh, myself and my classmates or myself or a team of 5, we worked on this project and then we were done and this is our outcome. For those that study language, maybe for instance, you study a new language, it could be French, it could be Yoruba, it could be Igbo or anything, and you're now good at it, you put it up there, it's an accomplishment. Same thing, it's also a networking tool. You can also network with your mentors in various industry. And for students, please, I encourage you all to follow various mentors in the industry you're aspiring to, go into after school so that you could see. I was talking about accomplishments. So put up your accomplishments, things that you've actually done, new skills that you've learned. If you learned how to use Excel, if initially you were a beginner and you've actually improved, put it up on LinkedIn when you're done. Okay, so I was talking about networking. So for students, if one thing with networking, you don't just connect because you want to connect. Be very strategic about it. And when you're reaching out to industry experts that you admire or mentors that you look up to and you admire the things that they're doing in their various industry, maybe in the engineering sector, in the film sector, in the business sector, is when you're sending that invite, it's always good to tell them that value you're bringing to the table, that skills that you're good at, because everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to have that impact. Everybody wants to see that you have something to offer. So when you're connecting, always put, okay, I'm a student from Ashesi University. I'm studying mass communication. I'm good with designs. I've done XYZ designs. I'm good with Canva. I can do this. I've worked on this project and this is the outcome of the project. So when you're networking, you need to put that out there. Next slide, please. When reaching out to various industry mentors. Okay, so these are pictures of projects students have carried out. Mind you, this screenshots are screenshots of student profiles on LinkedIn. You can check them out. Blessing Bolaji is a final year student here at Pan Atlantic University. And when she was done with the industry readiness program, she completed it and she got her certification and she put it online on LinkedIn. And you see, people commented on it and all of that. So it shows that you're actually improving on your skills, you're actually improving on your learning. Same thing with the other slide. The person actually did something on artificial intelligence. And once the person was done with the training, the person got the certifications and put it up on LinkedIn. Mind you, it's not a place for competition. Work on your own pace. If you've been able to take certification for just one program, it's okay. Put it up there and strive to do more. Don't look at other people's profile that have maybe 20 certifications or 20 projects they've worked on. No, it's a gradual pace, pace by pace. You put up what you've done, and before you know, your growth steady and steady, and then you do well at it. You're building a good profile. Please, can I have the next slide? Okay, so purpose of a LinkedIn profile. Next one, for networking, just as I've said earlier, for job search. So as students, if you're looking for internship opportunities, you go on LinkedIn, search the industry, and then things pop up, you search for jobs. My colleague on the call will be talking more on the job search and on the networking. I don't want to dwell on it. Then it's also an avenue for personal branding. That skills, that expertise that you have, that's career growth. It's always good to put it out there. So when recruiters see it, and it's very, very important. I need to say this. I would have mentioned it earlier, but it skipped my mind. Now that's come to my mind. Let me say it. For students, it's very, very essential that you start building your profile from now. If you're in 100 level, if you're in 200 level, start building your profile, because it shows your career story from when you started as a student to where you are much later in life, to you becoming the CEO, to you becoming a manager, to you becoming going in for entry level. And it's also an avenue for you to learn. Thank God there are courses you can take on LinkedIn. And when you're done, you get your certifications, you post it out there. There are articles that are being posted online to show the things that are happening around us. So these are tips that will guide you to optimize your LinkedIn profile. One, use a clear headshot. I always say this, I always tell my students, go to the studio and take a professional headshot. It won't cost you anything. You're actually building your profile. So dress professionally. You don't want a recruiter or anybody checking, or a mentor you've been aspiring, you've been looking up to check out your profile, and the person is like, what's this? And they're not accepting your invite. So customize your LinkedIn URL, your name, then the link. So it makes it easier when you share. Once the person clicks it, it takes you directly to your page. You know, a lot of people bear the same name, so always customize it to suit, have your full names, so that once they click on it, it goes straight to it. Then go beyond being a student of Pan Atlantic University, or being a student of Ashesi University, or whatever. Go beyond saying just student, put your skills. In the example I stated, the aspiring data scientist, aspiring script writer, you know, when people say this, it shows that yes, you're working towards becoming this particular role later on in the future. Then, just as I've mentioned, your summary must be very compelling. Tell a very beautiful story on projects, on things that you've actually done, your career aspirations, your academic background. If you're good in mathematics, you put it out there. If you're good in calculation, you put it out there when you're talking about your summary. The request for recommendation is very, very important. Please, the next slide. Okay, so showcase your work experiences and projects. When you go on internships, you put what you've done, part-time jobs, it could be remote jobs that you're doing, and schooling. Put it out there, show what you've done. Then include your certifications, then network actively, connect with your classmates. For those that don't have a profile, or those that are not active, reach out to other of your classmates, reach out to other students in other universities that you know, and from there you build your network, and then you connect. Then when you're connecting, I think I mentioned this earlier, personalized connection. You know, you're a student, you're inspiring to work in this particular field, you've done XYZ, and then you're open to, you know, meet them, learning more from this particular person. So it shows that yes, you have something to offer. You're not just about, you know, collecting and collecting. So share posts about your academic milestones, you know, improvement, things that you've done, you've achieved in a couple of years, months, weeks on your LinkedIn profile. Then comment on people's posts. If you see, and not because I said you should comment on people's posts, you know, you comment something that is not professional, or you write things that doesn't align with your values and all of that. No. If you see an interesting post, you can repost it on your profile, talk about it, comment. And once you like people's posts, you comment. When you send them an invite, oh, they must have been seeing, they've been getting notifications that you comment on their post regularly, you like their post. So it's always easy for them to accept your invitation. The next, okay. So on a final note, I was trying to rush up to meet the time as assigned to me. So for those that don't have a LinkedIn profile, please, after this session, create one. It's very, very easy. And for those that already have a LinkedIn profile that don't update it, sit down and think it through. Go back to your page and check. On my education, did I impute everything that it is on my education? My work experience, have I done something in the past that maybe I feel like is not up to LinkedIn standard? But after this session, Coach Pisa said, yes, you should put up your experience, couch it, and make it look professional. You put it out there, then connect with your friends, with your industry mentors, then update your profiles regularly. It's not that you post today and in 1 year's time, you won't post any other thing. So from time to time, go on LinkedIn, post articles, write-ups, and it could be different things. It might not necessarily be from your industry. You might be an engineering student and you like something in design. Write on it, post those designs on your profile. You never can tell. So you never can tell who would see it and who would appreciate it. And then you ensure that you use proper grammar and whatever you post out there is professional. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time. So on to my colleague Selassie. The floor
Great.
is for you.
Peace, thank you. Thank you so much, Peace. And yes, I hope you are taking notes, dear students. And I see your charts. I see that we have students from University of Cape Coast, University of Ghana, Bolgatanga Technical University. I'm just mentioning the Ghanaian ones first so that I say GIMPA, all from Ghana. We also have students from Sierra Leone, Liberia, University of Embu in Kenya, Federal University of Technology in Mina. Grand Bassam is also here. Sunyane is here. Burkina Institute of Technology. And Cavendish University, of course, in Uganda. I'm not missing that. Great. It's good to have all of you here. We have 254 people on here. There are a lot more who registered. Nudge your friends, nudge your colleagues. It's still not late for them to join. There's still a lot of good learnings for them to do. So in the next few minutes, I'd like to take you through why it's important for you to be networking on LinkedIn. And I did see an important question on there from my colleague Natasha in Uganda asking whether comments on LinkedIn are similar to what you have on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hopefully by the end of this session, you students would realize that LinkedIn is professional and we need to keep everything professional. So I have a scenario for you to imagine. Let's just imagine that as a student, you are doing well in your course that you are studying in school. You are also taking time to do some external courses. You're doing some voluntary work. You did some internship. You're doing all the great things that we are asking you to do. And there is a big employer session on campus where you have, say, 50 companies who have come to your company, to your university for an event. You are all in one room. You have HR directors there. You have managing directors there. You have your division directors, all there, great people in there. And here you are as a student with your skills and everything you have. But guess what? You are standing in a corner. You are not talking to anybody. You are not networking. In fact, you are enjoying the food that is in there all alone and the drink all alone. Your mouth is full, your hand is full. By the end of the 1.5 hours that you would have spent in there, you wouldn't have talked to anyone. Let me ask you this question. Do you think any of the people in that room, that HR director who is looking for you, do you think they'll be able to know who you are, what skills you have, what you have in order to recruit you? They will have no clue. And they will leave without you getting the opportunity to speak to them because you did not try. And those who probably even have less than you, but they engaged, they networked, will get the opportunities. And that is exactly what networking on LinkedIn is. Networking on LinkedIn is about you putting in the effort to connect with people, to share and let people know what is going on with you and learn from you. So now, how do you network on LinkedIn? There are different ways, and I'd want you to really pay attention to this area. So like we said, LinkedIn is different from Facebook, is different from Instagram. You're not there to just connect with your friends or the stars and show your pictures and all of that. No. But yes, we do encourage that on LinkedIn, you still connect with family and friends who are professional, who are like-minded. So people in the circles that you probably knew from high school or your mates, even in university. You connect with your lecturers, with staff, with university alumni. And here again, I'm saying with like-minded people. And by connect, I actually mean clicking that button at the bottom or right after their names that says connect. How about you seeing people that you are really interested in because maybe they are the managing director or HR director for that company or that kind of professional that you want to become or where you want to become? Do you just go and click connect because you want to connect with them? Remember, they do not know you. What you want to do for those people is to follow them. And once you follow them, what happens is that their feed, you are able to see what they post and what they share on your LinkedIn page. And then you can start commenting, not only liking, because liking does not get you anywhere, but actually commenting on what they write. And as you comment, you begin to build a relationship so that after that, you can actually go and ask for a connection. You can click connect. And by that time, they are more used to you and you are not a stranger to them. They see that this person has been following me for a while, has been commenting on my posts. And yes, I will accept that connection. Then also based on what you choose or based on your current connections or what you even choose on LinkedIn in terms of your preferences, LinkedIn will make some suggestions as to the kind of people you should be connecting with. And then from there, you can also click connect or follow some of those that LinkedIn suggests to you. An important area which we cannot overemphasize here is for you to be active in groups. There are lots of groups on LinkedIn. Look for groups that are specific to your area of interest. It could be groups on pharmaceuticals, marketing, engineering, or something that is you find interesting, and join those groups. From there, you'll meet other like-minded people, other senior people that you want to connect with or you want to follow. Now, the question is, and I think the question was answered very clearly in the scenario. Why is networking important? Because guess what? Like I said earlier on, 4 million people actually found jobs on LinkedIn in 2023. And LinkedIn actually happens to be the #1 way that people find jobs nowadays. It's impossible to know all the people on LinkedIn, but as you network, as you stay active, people begin to see you, they begin to learn about you and are more likely to give you the opportunities or hear you out when you need the help. And the truth is that every contact you make on LinkedIn has the potential to help you. It could be your mate, your classmate. You'll be surprised who they know or who they are connected to. And it helps you it opens up the doors in you getting opportunities like just simple advice or even mentorship or general suggestions for you. Now, what are some of the ways that you can connect? I've mentioned a lot of them already. The fact that you're supposed to be commenting on people's posts. And like we said, LinkedIn is a professional network. So you need to keep everything professional. Use professional English, no slangs, no pidgin language, no rude words, because remember, the internet never forgets. And if you use any rude words, you could be killing your career right there on LinkedIn. So stay positive, share your thoughts, comment on people's posts. And it's like I said, it's not just enough to like. When you find interesting articles, repost them. Repost them so others can read, so the people whose articles they are can also see that you have reposted, and connect with people you have met in person. So once again, I go back to my scenario of the people you met in the networking event you have on campus. You've met different people. You speak to them in person, and once you go back, go connect with them on LinkedIn. They will most likely accept your connection because they have met you in person. And then share some of your key learnings that you have found or you have learned from experts, or the conferences you attended, even the classes you have in school, the speaker sessions, the mentorship sessions you have. Remember that I said in the beginning that you do not want to wait till that big moment before you share something. But rather, it could be something as simple as an interesting thing you learned in class today, or something you were finding difficult to understand. And voila, suddenly now you understand it because somebody explained to you and you are grateful. You know, you could share something small on LinkedIn. It makes people get to know you better. It makes people warm up to you a lot better. Then also, you could look for professionals in companies and industries that you are interested in. So I talked about, so this is a picture from my network. And this person, you would see a second next to the person's name. I will explain, I think on the next slide, I'll explain what the first, second, and third means. This is somebody that I do not know. So initially, I would only click follow. I would only follow the person. Or possibly, I can see the connections. So we're still talking about ways to connect. I can see people we have in common. A simple thing for me to do is actually leverage on the various connections, similar connections we have, and probably reach out to Benjamin Gumado or Eyome Aka, as you can see there, and say that, hey, I want to connect with Gifty. I see that you're connected with her. Do you know her personally? Have you worked with her? That kind of thing. Can you introduce me? And these fine gentlemen introduce me, and then I can then connect or start talking to Gifty, because there's probably maybe something I need from her in terms of a company, or I want her to mentor me. And if you have the professional LinkedIn or the paid LinkedIn, you could actually send an email, as LinkedIn calls it, where you can ask, hey, my name is this, I've noticed this, and I'm interested in this. I see you are great at it. Can I connect with you? And then the person will accept and connect with you. Another important way of getting to connect with people are to accept your pending invitations. Of course, you're not just accepting is by clicking yes, 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 but you are finding out who these people are and then connecting with them. An important point to note is that if you are connecting with somebody who is not in your circles, most likely LinkedIn will ask you whether you know this person, and you will get a prompt if you don't know the person and ask you to send the person a message first. And it's also important for you to note that if you go connecting with people haphazardly, your LinkedIn account can be temporarily restricted from actually connecting with people if somebody reports you as a spam. Great. Now, I showed you the second that was on there. Let's talk about degrees of separation. So on the screenshot I have here, you'd realize that you have some people who are first, some who are second. And I don't have some who are third here because I couldn't add more screenshots. But yes, you would have some who are third. Basically, the first are people I'm already connected to. So we have clicked connect and we are connected. Second are the people I have connected to know. So second degree people are the people that my first degree people are connected to. And I've shown you how to get to those second degree people by following them, by commenting, on their posts by asking for an introduction from your first degree. Then you have third degree. Third degree are the people who are completely outside of your network. But second and third degrees are very important, and they are a good way for you to invest in connecting with these people in order to grow your network. I see a number of hands up. Please take note of your questions. Do not forget your questions. We want to answer as many questions as possible. So remember your questions, and also you can type in your questions in the chat box. My colleague Peace mentioned it earlier on, and I'd like to mention it again, that look, LinkedIn is not a popularity contest. It is not like Facebook. It is not like Twitter. It's not still Twitter, right? It's not like X. It's not like Instagram or TikTok, where you want to amass the numbers of people following you. You want to amass the likes and the views. This is a professional network, and is the most important social media that you, a student, should have. And it behaves differently from the other social media platforms. It doesn't see you as valuable if all you have is likes from everyone else. What is important in LinkedIn are the impressions, the number of impressions. And by that, we mean the number of people who are reading your content and not your likes. So this is why if you are not posting anything, if you're not commenting on anything, you are not seen on LinkedIn. You are also seen when you are sharing content and you are reposting other people's content, and they are also sharing your content. By they sharing your content, they are opening you up to their network for you to take advantage of. And at this point, I would like to invite my colleague Christian to handle job search and branding.
Good. So thank you, Peace. Thank you, Selassie, for introducing us to LinkedIn. So Peace talked in detail about branding ourselves, and Selassie talked about networking. But before I go deep in the content, I wanted to also highlight a couple of people who are here. I saw we have people from Côte d'Ivoire, the Grand Bassam. We have Cavendish from Uganda, and we have Rwanda Polytechnic, of course, from Rwanda. So you're welcome on the webinar. Please, can we go next? Very good. So to be able to get a job on LinkedIn, first of all, you have to do what Peace and Selassie talked about. So you need to make sure your profile is optimized properly. So you need to make sure you have the experience part is filled, the educational part is filled. And sometimes students are asking me, but I don't have any experience. So how do I post anything, add anything under experience? So as a student, sometimes you realize that you've done some work study, you have some internships, you have some volunteer work, you took some leadership roles on the guild committee, and you might even be a freelance. So those are the things you can add as a student as you wait to get the real work experience. And then under education, like Pete said, you can still add the ongoing program you're taking. You can add your certifications on Coursera, on Udemy, on edX, or any honors you've received from your academic journey. So it is very important you optimize your profile. Why? Because LinkedIn algorithms, they will draw from your profile to give you the right job feeds. So they will take information you've shared. They will also take information from the people you are connected to, and then it will link it to the profile, the jobs you want you are looking out for on LinkedIn. So it's important you optimize your profile. That's number one. So number two, so LinkedIn has a feature called preferences, and it is under about part. and you can click on it. And if you click on it, you are able to change some features to open to work. If you don't tick it, it is closed. So you need to make sure it is ticked and you click open to work if you are, or open to volunteering. You can also upload your CV. So sometimes your LinkedIn profile is not as detailed as you want. So sometimes you have a separate CV, and this CV is going to help you to apply. We will see it when there is an option of easy apply. You can also set up the option of job alerts. For any job in the field you're interested in, you'll be seeing some positions. So some students are telling me that, but job alerts, I don't need a job, I'm still learning. Maybe I will be interested in jobs when I finish university. But remember, with this part, if you get the job in the area you're interested in, you get to see the skills that employers are looking out for. Then if you know the skills, you can take a course anywhere, you can empower yourself. And yeah, so that's it. Can we go next? Very good. So then after preferences, you can also do your own search and see what is available for you. As you can see, there are some boxes where you can type in the information. So you can type the type of job you want. Is it an AI engineer? Where do you want to work? Is it in Kenya? And then you have filters. And under filters, you have jobs, you have the levels. Is it an entry level? Is it a managerial level? Is it a remote position? Is it an on-site position you're looking at for? And when was it posted? What type of companies they're looking at for? And then there's the easy apply part. So when you are searching, you don't need to tick all the filters. So you only tick the filters that you want to use. In the end, if everything is ticked, this will diminish the number of jobs that LinkedIn will display for you. So you need to play around these filters as you are looking for jobs. So there is an important part, back please. So there is an important part here. It's called easy apply. So LinkedIn has this feature. When the position you're looking for has this label, easy apply, it means you can directly apply using LinkedIn. So you don't need to go to the company's website to apply. It means the company has allowed LinkedIn to collect information to apply for you. Then in that case, you click on easy apply. It takes the information from your feed, from your profile. And if you have also added your CV, you also take the information from your CV and add it to your application. And remember, as I conclude, so the branding part that Peace talked about is like building your personal billboard on a highway. So you want the billboard to be clean, you want the billboard to be professional, and you want people who see it to be impressed by the content of the billboard. Then networking will be like, how could I say it? It's like cultivating a banana plantation, and the stronger the roots. So by the roots here, I mean the connections. So the stronger the roots, the more fruitful is going to be the harvest. So if your connections are strong, genuine, then you'll see results later. And then the job search, now you have your billboard and you want people to see you. So then you need to make sure that the billboard is clean, your network is good, so that you can nail the job that you are looking out for. And I wanted to talk about one very simple thing. There's one student who asked about premium services, if they help you to get the job easily. I want to handle that as I conclude. Yes, so premium services, they help you to get the job easily, but non-premium services also can help you get a job. So why premium services is because you have The increased LinkedIn will increase your visibility when you pay. That's understandable. That's business. Number two, you get access to job insights, which is more detailed than the free version. And then you have access to LinkedIn Learning that Selassie will talk about in the next slides. Thank you, Selassie.
Great. Thank you so much, Christian. Like I said, I really hope you are taking down notes, all of you. So great. I will move on and just talk about a few interesting features on LinkedIn that you should take note of and that you want to make use of. And remember to put your questions down. After this, we'll be opening up for questions, and then we will get to the competition. So it's something, the first feature is something that Peace mentioned earlier on, and that is the featured button. So you would notice as you scroll through your LinkedIn that you have featured somewhere. So basically what featured does is that any posts you have on there or any article you have written there, you can select it to be featured so that it sits on top of your LinkedIn profile, so that when everyone opens your LinkedIn, when everybody opens your LinkedIn, that is one of the first things that they will see, your featured article. So we encourage you to make use of that featured article. So you can see a little screenshot of what I have on my LinkedIn on my featured. I have some of the sessions I did, some other meetings that I found interesting. And I have a story to tell you on this next this next feature, that is articles. So a while ago, there was this great job, before I got my job at Ashesi, actually, there was this great job that a colleague actually reached out to me to say that, hey, Selassie, I've got this job and I think you will be great for it. And what it is that my friend had been approached by a company, a great company in the US, who were looking to hire someone with oil and gas experience. And so they had approached her for the job, but she said, I don't think I am qualified enough to do the job, but I know someone who is qualified. You see the power of networking. I know someone who is qualified to do the job, and that person is Selassie. I'd like to introduce you to her. And the company asked, okay, that sounds great. Can you show us an article that Selassie has so we can read and get comfortable with knowing that she can do the job? And guess what? Selassie did not have any article on LinkedIn. So your guess is as good as mine. I obviously did not get the job, even though I had been recommended for it. And this lady was still the person that they wanted because she had articles. The little things that she was doing at work, things she was learning, she was sharing them on LinkedIn as articles. And that is what the people found, and that is how she got shortlisted. So I encourage you all, you don't need to be experts. Make use of these fantastic features on LinkedIn. Share your articles, share your stories, and you never know who is looking. You never know who is shortlisting you. Then, definitely not the least of them all is LinkedIn Learning. You literally have thousands and thousands of courses on LinkedIn that you can be learning. Well, yes, sometimes some of them are paid for, but in fact, LinkedIn has 10 free courses that are running now. They are free till January 2025. So we encourage you to go look for those courses. I think I will share them later. To go look for those courses and do those courses. As you do those courses, you can share them on your LinkedIn profile or on your LinkedIn articles and comments that you have finished this course or that course. So with that, it brings us to the end of today's session. I know we have given you a lot of information and it can be quite overwhelming. So we have a little recap here. And basically what this recap is, I want you, these are important points that if you forget anything at all, do not forget these recaps. That LinkedIn is the most important professional network, and it will help you manage your career. It will help you find jobs. It would help you research companies that you're interested in, help you connect with professionals, and also stay updated with industry news. And remember, the truth is that there is no perfect LinkedIn profile. So like what P said, don't get intimidated by somebody's profile that is so flamboyant, saying a lot of, I'm excited to share this, I'm thrilled to do this. You need to be authentic and build your own story. You need to tell your true story. And by that, you are creating, there was a word Christian used that I can't remember now, but just similar to authentic. You are creating your true self, and you are putting yourself out there as a brand. It's extremely important for you to optimize your LinkedIn profile by following all the steps that Peace talked about. Your headline, your about, your education, your skills, all of that, you need to follow it. It will ensure that you are visible in searches and that people understand what value you present. And networking is a crucial skill that you cannot do without. You need to know how to comment, who to follow, and how to interact without spamming people. Use the jobs feature on LinkedIn, please. We encourage you to use the jobs feature. Recruiters are actively seeking, and you can find a job there. Even if you cannot find a job there, you can find someone who may know a job that is maybe has not been shared on LinkedIn there. So it's important for you to do that networking and make use of the preference tab so that you can filter it down to what you want to be seen as looking for or what you are looking for out there. Make use of some of the interesting features I just mentioned, the articles, the featured, and the LinkedIn Learning. And above all, please do not stop learning. Do not stop learning. So we really hope you found value in all of this. I think at the moment we would like to open it up to questions and answers. Yes, I believe questions and answers. And as we do questions and answers, we also would like to share an evaluation form. It's important for us to get feedback. So my colleague Andrew will share the evaluation form on here. And please raise up your hand.
Yes, good evening to you all, family.
Yes, we hear you clearly.
My name is Kabitomba Tuzimbe from Uganda Matters University, alongside Kayabwe Ikweta, Nkozi, Mpigi District. So, as I have joined in, I would like to know more about LinkedIn, as I have got to know something like is professional, suitable for career development, but I personally, I would like to understand it more better. How can I create my own link? How can I share my profiles? Okay, actually, it's how to use it, because it seems it's new to me and to my fellows also. So I beg to submit.
All right, thank you so much for your question. It's an important one. I'd like one of my colleagues to type in the chat group the LinkedIn URL. So first, you will visit the LinkedIn URL. My colleagues type in the profile, sorry, in the chat box, and then from there it will ask you to sign in, create an account, and then you follow the steps to fill in all the details that my colleague Peace took you through. You will also have access to this recording on YouTube that you can always refer to. In addition, you actually have, once you join LinkedIn, you can actually search on there. There are some free articles that you can search how to create a LinkedIn profile or how to do this or that. And just bit by bit, you can get to know it. The good thing about LinkedIn is that it's very intuitive. You don't need to go study a lot to do it. As you try your hands, you are learning. So I encourage you to give yourself, to allow yourself to try that, okay? Great.
Okay, I also wanted to add.
Yes, please go on, please.
Okay, so I also want to hail students from Pan Atlantic University too, and every other student that joined from Nigeria. So thank you for joining. Then to add to his to answer some of his questions, once he opened the profile, you don't have to update it at once. So if you put your headshot, your education, and then you could go back the following week, put up a post, step by step. And as the weeks go by, if you go back to your profile and you see that you need to update it, I update my profile every time. I could put up a couple of things, and then when I go back to look at it, maybe 1 month's time, and I say, no, I need to add this, I need to remove this. So it's a constant thing. It's not something that you just do at once and then you just leave it. So you keep updating, you keep learning, you keep on learning. So that's what I wanted to add to.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Peace. Remember, you can also type your questions in the chat box and my colleagues will read it out to us. What I will do next is I'll take 3 questions together and then we will answer them. So I'll invite Evelyn Yeboah, followed by Eric Wiafe, followed by Siddiq Ibrahim. So Evelyn, if you can unmute now, you can ask your question.
Hello. Hi, Selassie. Thank you very much. That was a very in-depth presentation. I'm glad to have joined. But I have a question. Christian talked about the job and then recruited. So I have my preferences open to new work. So I have been receiving job alerts. But when I go there, when I go and see the job alerts on the notification side, I see that so there's the option where you see at the very beginning, you see 5 months, 5 hours ago. But when you open the job alert itself, the closing date is backdated, like 2 or 3 years back. I want to know, so if I see a notification like that, that's about 5 hours ago, like I got this notification, but reading the summary of the job and then the closing date and everything, I see that is like maybe 2022, 2020. Does it still mean that the job is open, or like they are reopen to hiring more people, or it's because it's backdated, I should just forget about it?
All right, good question. Christian, please take note of that question. I will let you answer that shortly. I can see Eric Wiafe has put his hand down, and also Siddiq has also put his hand down. So I would invite Diodene Dara to please ask your question.
So thank you for the floor. My name is Diodene Gumba from Bukinat Institute of Technology, and my question is about the recommendation. How do I ask for and give meaningful recommendations on LinkedIn? And if possible, can you give me what are some common mistakes people make when setting up their LinkedIn profile, and how can I avoid them? And is completely fully LinkedIn profile is needed to highlight accomplishment and skills.
Okay, so please take note of that. I will take a question from Delphine Pratt. Delphine, please go ahead.
Okay, great. I said I am grateful for the opportunity to join this very insightful session. I have 2 questions, please. The first one is, most recruiters are likely to search for candidates with experience. I don't think that job seekers just choose randomly, but what if you don't have any experience, but you want to land a job to gain that experience? I wanted to ask, how likely are you to land such a job? And my second question is, as someone who's just schooling, can you put up your normal school project presentations on your LinkedIn profile, and how best can you make it look nice for viewers? Thank you.
Great, thank you. Really good questions from you all. Evelyn, Dieudonné, Delphine, yes, and Delphine. So I will invite Christian to take Evelyn's question on preferences. Christian, can you?
Okay, thank you very much. Evelyn, that was a very good question, and this has happened to me quite often of getting expired alerts or outdated job alerts. So what happens is, what I realized in my case was I had set alerts way in the past and with the dates in the past. And then LinkedIn was still giving me the alerts from the jobs in the past. So, and then what I did is to create fresh new alerts. So if you want to continue to receive notifications in that job category, you deactivate the alerts you created in the past, and then you create new job alerts for you to be able to receive current alerts. I hope that helps.
Great, thank you very much. There was also a second part of Evelyn's question that talked about how to ask for and give. Okay, so I think that was from Dieudonné actually. And Peace, can you take that, please?
Okay.
Recommendations.
Thank you so much for the question. So how to ask for recommendation? So you, as you're a student, you could meet your lecturers, and before asking for recommendation, you must be active in school and school projects, because you want, people wouldn't give you recommendations on what they are not sure of, because they'll be contacted. If I give you a recommendation and an organization reach out to me to ask about the recommendation that I had given to you, so I have to be sure that what I'm putting out there is what is authentic, what is true. So you're in school as a student, you have to be active when you're giving project. You go to your lecturers, you ask questions, so it might not even be your lecturers in school. It could be a senior mentor, or it could be your classmates, in other levels that you've worked closely with on a project. You carried out an assignment, a schoolwork, after the project and all, you can go and ask for recommendation. Okay, after this, you've known me for 2 years, you've known me for a couple of months. What can you say about me? What can you? And then some other persons just recommend you for your good act. You're very active in school, you engage in some activities, you're a member of the social club, you're a member of, a debate club, you're the class rep of your class and all of that. So some lecturers will see that, some school people say, wow, this is really good, and then they just recommend you. Why other times you request. And for those that have gone on internship or have done volunteer work, or done something remote, or assisted somebody to carry out a project or a presentation, and you've done that for a couple of times, it's also good to ask them for recommendation. And if they are sure that yes, you deserve it, you've done well, why not? They'll actually recommend, they actually give you those recommendations. Then you also asked, what are the errors students make? Well, just as I'd mentioned the tips, so some persons post pictures that are not professional. Some persons don't even put pictures on the profile. They just put their names and they don't put anything. So avoid all of this, because once a person clicks on your name and takes you to your profile, that first page they see, that first landing thing they see, your name, your headshot, needs to be tidy, needs to be appealing, needs to look good before you can now talk of the post and the other certifications and the other things. So the most important thing on LinkedIn for me is that your profile, your education, and your about section needs to be well arranged and detailed in your own experience, in your own way you've actually grown as a student. All right, I hope I've answered it. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Peace. So we will continue with the questions. I've seen some hands still up and some really great questions on the chat box as well in the Q&A. My colleagues, I also invite you to read the questions in the Q&A and begin answering them as well. But it's I don't want you to leave here without being part of the competition. And guess what the prize is? The prize is a group LinkedIn premium subscription. Do you know how much the premium subscriptions cost? It's a premium subscription granting your school, your university, or your career services department access to professional development resources and opportunities, which will benefit both you and students. Both you, the students, and also faculty. So now, what is the competition about? Every person on here, whether you have a LinkedIn account or not, you can be part of the competition. It's in 3 tiers. The first tier is for those who do not have LinkedIn accounts at all. A good number of you said you don't. Second tier is for those who have a LinkedIn account, but it has been dormant. They've barely used it for anything, or they haven't even posted anything at all in the last 4 months. And then those we call SORES are the third tier, and that is for students who post at least once or more in a month. They post at least once a month. So this is what we are asking you to do for each tier. Please, as I speak, also read through your tier where you fall under. We want you to create a link for tier 1, the newbies. We want you to create a LinkedIn account. So create that LinkedIn account, go through the profile. Complete your profile using what Peace taught you today. We'll share a checklist as well. Create your profile and connect with at least 15 professionals in your field. Once you have done that, post your first update announcing the start of your LinkedIn journey and share your career interests, or share an article or a project you find relevant to begin engaging with your network. And what is extremely important is that you add the hashtags EduCollab LinkedIn, hashtag the name of your institution, and hashtag newbie. That is how we will find it. For all 3 tiers, take note. We want you to take a screenshot of what your LinkedIn looks like today, because we would need to verify whether indeed you were a newbie, you didn't have an account, or whether you had a dormant account, or we want to see how it looked like before and how it looks like by the end of the competition. So tier 2, your hashtag is hashtag Riser, and you are the student with a dormant LinkedIn account and who has not posted anything in the last 4 months. We want you to update your LinkedIn profile with any recent experiences, skills, or certifications. Also to write and post an original update about a personal achievement, a project, or share and write about an article or resource relevant to your interest. Your hashtag is your hashtags, you must include all of these hashtags. Your hashtags are EduCollab LinkedIn, your hashtag, your institution name, and hashtag Riser. Last but not the least are the SORES, those in the 3rd tiers. And these are those who have been posting once or more a month. We want you to review your LinkedIn profile for completeness, ensuring it reflects your latest accomplishments. Write a detailed post about a project, internship, or a significant experience. We also want you to write an original post about this LinkedIn training session, specifically highlighting how the session has benefited you and something unique you learned, which you will implement moving forward. And your hashtags to use are hashtag EduCollab LinkedIn, hashtag your institution name, and hashtag Sora. So this is the checklist you can use for the profile and completing your profile. And then a few important points to note about the competition. Like I said, your screenshot is extremely important. Remember your hashtags. And for your school to qualify, there must be at least 10 posts from students from your university. At least 10 posts from students from your university. Yes, not all of you may have attended this session, but go share the word. Your colleagues could go look at this recording. Your lecturers and your career services department can also organize training sessions for you so that you can start this competition. And your institution will be awarded. We've told you what the award is. We've given you a long leeway. The competition starts now, but ends all the way 27 February 2025. We know that we are going on holidays now, so it might be difficult for your career department to do sessions for you, but you have January and February to do that. So we invite you all to take part in the competitions. It is extremely important. We've done questions and answers already. And this literally brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you all so much for joining. I will just I know that there are a few hands up. If you need to drop off now, you are free to do so now. Thank you very much for joining. This has been hosted by Education Collaborative, and we encourage you to encourage your institutions, if they are not members of Education Collaborative, to join the Education Collaborative, because then they get to network with universities from across Africa who are sharing their key learnings, sharing best practices, sharing the best standards, all in the aim of supporting you students in your employability development and also other areas. So let's see who has a hand raised up. Eric, you're back. I see you are back. So Eric, I'll allow you to answer your question, but before I do so, we didn't talk about Delphine's question. Delphine, I believe you asked about experience, the fact that you may lack experience because companies are asking for experienced people. I mean, so this is exactly why we encourage every student to be very active in their university days. So right from your first year, even from your high school days, it's important for you to volunteer, to do different things. You never know what an employer is going to ask. So just go out, find the things that interest you, things in your community. It could be a school right behind your house where you can see that they lack teachers. You could volunteer to go learn, volunteer to go teach them. By doing that, you are learning a whole range of skills, different skills that you could use when an employer asks for experience. You should be joining groups, extracurricular and co-curricular groups in your universities now. Don't be that person who it's only from lecture room to your hostel or to your accommodation or partying and social media throughout. It doesn't help you in any way. You'll be found wanting when an employer asks for experience. It's important for you to, how do you call it, do some co-curricular activities. You will learn some skills there. And then you have opportunities for internships, opportunities for job shadowing, opportunities to get a mentor. All of these areas are places you can get skills from that you can use. Also, there are some platforms online that give you job simulations. And I think one that comes to mind is Forage, F-O-R-A-G-E, the Forage, where you can register and take some job simulations from companies. You have companies posting some assignments on there that you can take, and then it will upskill you, and you can put those experiences on your LinkedIn or on your CVs. Great. I hope I answered that question. So I will move on to Eric Wiafe. You can unmute and speak. After Eric, I'll go to Harriet Araba Isel and then to Natasha.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That was very insightful section. I've really learned a lot from this section. First of all, I'm a senior career peer coach. First of all, I'm a senior career peer coach from SCP. That's the System Change Program for Employability, which is proudly collaborated with the Education Collaborative. And shout out to my boss, that's Dr. Metefio and Dr. Edward, who is also part of this project. Mine is going to be a suggestion or add-on, since I have trained about 100+ students. Thanks to Educative Collaborative and the project itself, that the SCPE. Most students are being scammed on LinkedIn, whereby someone can portray or pretend to be like an MP or a professor, where they will trick them that they have a scholarship somewhere, so that they should charge a particular number because of all these tricky stuffs. So most of the time, students fell a victim of what these kind of scams. So I want to also add that to because we have been getting reports, and me myself, I experienced it before. So I think this is what I will say, and thank everyone for joining this program.
That's a very good one. Before I allow Harriet to come in, I think I'd like to tackle this. In fact, Mohammed Kaba had asked this very question on the chat group. It's very true. There are a lot of scammers on LinkedIn that you need to be careful about. So last month we got trained by a staff of LinkedIn, and he did say that now LinkedIn is going through a verification process where companies would have to verify. So hopefully that will wean out some of these dangers out there. But before that, what we encourage every student to do is, and which we all do, once somebody asks you to connect, don't just accept all connections. It's important for you to scan through the person's profile. See, do you have any mutual connections? Where is this person coming from? What are they studying? For me, I rarely accept connections where there's very limited information about the person. I find it fishy, and I mean, if this is a professional network, you need to put in the effort to update. So if you're not updating, I'm not accepting you. So you need to be very vigilant. And also, do not share any information. So things like, I mean, as for your CV, I mean, companies can see your profiles and your experiences on LinkedIn, but do not share any private information like your bank details, your ID cards, or anything like that on LinkedIn. You are not supposed to. Do not pay any money. Nobody, I know the system is sometimes difficult in getting jobs, but no company will ask you to pay anything for a job. So if they're asking you to pay some money, 10,000 naira, 100 CDs or whatever, your antenna should go up and see that it is most likely a scam. Or just ask someone. Go to your career services offices and ask them to look through. Please, what do you think of this? It looks like a scam. Can I go ahead or not? So please, those are some of the tips, all right? So I will ask Harriet. Harriet, please, you can speak now. Harriet, you can unmute to speak.
Okay, please, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Harriet Araba Issa from the University of Ghana. Please, you spoke about free courses on LinkedIn, so I wanted you to tell us how we will be able to access them. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. I will share the link with Education Collaborative so they can share with you all. I don't have it readily available. I forgot to include it in this. My apologies. I will do that. At least since you joined, we have your details and we can share that. Who else? Let me see. We have Bridget. Bridget, you can ask your question. All right, I think Bridget no longer has a question. Are there any other questions that I have missed asking my colleagues? Please continue to answer the questions on the chat box. I think on this note, I'm still scrolling through. I can see 2 hands up. Okay. I can see Esther Bewaji. Esther, please unmute to ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon. My question is, first of all, so there are some things that I just opened my LinkedIn profile recently, and there are some things that I have done previously. But my question is can I also share things that I've already done weeks or even months ago? Is there some time frame for things that I can post? Because sometimes I feel because it's been a long time, I won't be able to post it any longer. And I also want to clarify that you said something about how we should like message people? Are you saying that once we connect with them, we should automatically like send them a message introducing ourselves? Because I didn't get that part. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your question. I will answer that. I would ask Elo Gosa to ask a question.
Good evening, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Can you speak louder? Then we'll hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good
Good
evening, ma'am.
evening.
Good evening. Thank you for this meeting. My name is Elagosa Florence, and my question is, as an average student, the session has been impactful, and I've gained a lot of knowledge on how to optimize my page. So as an average student, and I'm not looking for a job like an office job, but I'm a farmer. I'm studying fishes and animal science chemistry. Like, what are the ways that I can also optimize my page when I don't put open for work or looking for a job? Then secondly, regarding the competition, please ma'am, I would like for you to throw more light on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. You said you're studying agric, so you will not be doing you're not looking for a job, but it's more of farming. Great. I would let my colleague Christian take that, and I would also let my colleague Esther take the one about old posts, whether you can still share them, and also whether you should be messaging, you should message everyone. But before they do that, let me take the last question, and that is coming from Matthew. The last question from Matthew. Matthew, are you there? Do you want to ask a question? All right, I think, okay, so I'll ask Peace and Christian to please answer the two questions.
Okay. So good afternoon, everybody, once again. The question on posting, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so the question on posting later on, yes, very, very important. If you attend an event maybe today and you're unable to post today, you could post it one more time. It could be you remembered an event that you went for and you like to share your learning. It could be a throwback post. You could post anything at any time. There's no time frame to say if you don't post it at this time, then when you post it becomes no. So you could post whatever activities you've done months ago, and you could post it whenever you're ready to post it, because it's a professional space. And the fact that I said, or we or other panelists have said, we should post, we should update, we should network, you shouldn't just rush and just post anything for posting's sake. Take your time, review the content, ensure that the grammars are well written, well structured, and it's a professional post. So the fact that I would say you should write articles or you should post on LinkedIn, you should update your page, doesn't mean you just see anything and just post. No, you have to be very strategic about what you post. So take your time, reminisce, and the more you take your time, review it, you see that you do better at it. So if you've had an experience, maybe a volunteer experience that happened like 2 years ago, you go on LinkedIn. Thank God for dates. It will ask you start date, end date on LinkedIn when you're updating your profile. You put it, the month, and if you're done or if it's still ongoing. So you can always put your experience, your certifications, whatever you've done in the past. Then for connecting, there are some people on LinkedIn, industry experts, CEOs, people that are big in their industry. Most times before you connect to them, it'll ask you, when you're sending a connection, you write a short note. So that's what I was talking about. So if you're connecting and it's asking you to put up a short note when sending your invite, so you have to couch it to look nicely, because everyone wants to see that you have value to offer, even if you're a student, even if you're a beginner, even if you're just starting. So it's good to, state your name, university, what you're doing, the skills that you have, and that value that you're bringing to the table. So that when the person is seeing your connection, reading the message that comes with it, the writer person is saying, oh, okay, this person actually has something to offer. Is this something I'm interested in? Why not? And if you know, most older people in the industry want to socialize with young talent, like students, because you are more tech savvy, you're more tech savvy, and you're more into the latest trends. So why not? It's always good to put up a write-up, especially for someone you don't know and you actually admire in that industry, and you're hoping to connect and learn from the person. So that's why I mentioned that it's good to put a write-up. And there are times to send your invitation without putting any write-up, but it's always advisable to put up something when sending so that the request is accepted. And if you also, I wanted to add to, if you also send a request and the person doesn't accept, don't feel bad about it. You know, one day you might get to meet the person physically or something, or you will know somebody that knows the person, and then you say, oh, I've actually sent a request and all of that. Sometimes people are too maybe swamped with work to look at their profile. Another thing I was going to mention in the session that skipped my mind is during public holidays, during summer, during breaks, people are free to look at their phones, to check what has been going on, updates and all of that. So sometimes that's when people not accept their requests. So you could target to send out requests during public holidays, Easter's, when people are actually relaxing. There's not so much of works and deadline. People tend to accept your requests during that period. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Peace. On to the next question. I would like you to take a screenshot of this particular page I'm on. It gives you a good summary of what the competition is about. All we are asking you to do is that depending on your tier, posts, either set up an account or put up a post or update your profile and add the various hashtags we want you to do. Also, you should have a picture of what your LinkedIn looks now so that you can share that before you even share these stories. You know, I attended this LinkedIn session. That you could start by saying that, you know, I attended this LinkedIn session organized by Education Collaborative, and at the start of the competition, at the start of the session, this is how my LinkedIn looked like. I'm using this to update my LinkedIn, and you know, here's my story of that. So at least people have a fair idea of why you are posting your old excuse me, your old LinkedIn picture. And then about you being a farmer. Yes, remember that at the beginning, we said that LinkedIn is not only about looking for jobs. It's a place for people to connect with like-minded people. It's a place for some people to look for jobs. It's a place for you to learn. It's a place for you to build your brand. So for you, if you have probably, say, your own farms, or your own things, since you are in university, you would obviously be more scientific than a regular farmer. So you could be sharing key things that you are learning, or key insights that you know is going on in the agric sector, or sharing about your farm. You could literally have a picture of yourself on your farm where you're growing your tomatoes or something, and share, you know, how you started. I started with just this or that, and now it is this. I'm looking forward to expanding to this, and this is what has helped me. You never know who is looking for a partner or who's looking to buy wholesale from you. So it's not only about jobs, it's really about sharing your professional self or sharing whatever you are doing. And I hope that answers your question. So on this note, I would like to say a huge thank you to all of you for joining this session. We hope you found it useful. Thank you to your lecturers and your career advisors who invited you. And most of all, thank you to Education Collaborative. Please do share the evaluation form again for those who missed it. Please remember to share the complete the evaluation form, and watch out for our next sessions that we have. We have very good training sessions that benefits everyone. So thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful afternoon or evening, and see you all soon. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.